what
I feel like depression is like a mental health issue that is maybe prolonged, where grief is due to some circumstance that happened, like the death of a loved one, and it's more, not that it's short term, because I know grief lasts for a long time, but it's like specific to an incident.
Yeah.
Where depression is more like your outlook on life. Is that kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's about right. But the presentation is a little different. But somebody that is suffering from grief can go in to depression, and we call that more complicated grief. But grief is like when you lose a loved one. There's that that feeling of immense loss and missing them and hoping they return. There's a great deal of sadness, and it usually lasts about 2 to 3 months, but then there's an ongoing, nagging feeling of still missing that person.
Right.
But depression is certainly more clinical, and it is, I mean, sometimes it happens after an event or just spontaneously, but usually there's other things associated with that, like not enjoying different events. We call that anhedonia. Or there's also guilt, lots of guilt, inappropriate guilt, in addition to the sadness. Because with grief, there's not guilt about, you being depressed or about the world's problems.
Right.
But sometimes if grief is prolonged, it can then lead to
turn into depression.
Yeah. But it's important that, if you know somebody that's grieving, to give them support, and check in with them even after, months after, check in, see how they're doing.
Right.